here at the CAT conference, which is a creativity and technology conference in New York City, and I'm talking with Sam Ewen, and he was one of the presenters before who went over some amazing new technology that's coming out or that's already out there and that it's going to be available to more and more people as time goes by. So Sam, thanks for taking the time. So tell us a little bit about what you envision it's going to be happening with some of the new technologies that you spoke about in your talk.
Well, the technologies that I focused on in this talk are specifically around how we manipulate the world around us. So we talked about augmented reality, we talked about projection mapping, and we also talked about connect hacking. The three technologies mentioned are all about how we look at the world through either devices, cameras, screens, phones, or about what we can do to the world itself and add content, take away content, add tags, searches, data, and graphic experiences on top of that world, which is something I'm just really interested in personally, and also the brands that I work with seem to like the idea that if they can create an experience that people sort of can't help but avoid because it looks so interesting and it's different for them, that's a win. That there's a reason that some traditional medias aren't doing so well, but the medias that cause people to stop, engage, and then share are getting the attention right now. And these are technologies that are doing that for us. So much of advertising is about how do I avoid it. So what we want to do is create experiences, and these technologies are pretty wondrous in what they do. So we create the experiences so that people want to approach them and want to get involved and then want to engage. And these days, engaging is so much easier than it was 10 years ago when I started this. People can now, using their phones, using their tablets, using their computers, they can share these messages with so many people. So if I'm in the business in the end of giving a content experience and have it be for a brand, then I got to make sure that that experience is going to stand out as much as possible. And a lot of these technologies allow us to do so in ways that people generally haven't seen before.
My question is, do you foresee that it's going to be possible for someone who's an entrepreneur to tap into some of these things that they don't have the, wherewithal to spend what these other people are spending now as these technologies are just emerging? Do you foresee that it's going to be more accessible to a broader mass of people?
Well, I mean, a lot of our clients are the sort of GEs and Pfizers of the world who can afford to do some R&D on their experiences. But one of the benefits is a lot of the innovation coming out of these are coming out of small sort of hackers, university programmers, artists, and those are people who generally just want to see their work out there. So that if an entrepreneur or a small company wants to give that person a platform for their work to be seen, there's a good chance they could get it done at a lot cheaper than it would cost another brand who wants to create a big blowout experience. One of the good things about what we showed today was in the first two, which is augmented reality and the connect hacking, all of the actual hardware in those is cheap. It's all consumer hardware that you could go to a Best Buy and get. So, the only one that really has a little bit of a barrier will be projection mapping, although there's great projectors you can get these days for, under $5,000 that could do some of those experiences too. So I think what we try to focus on is not, blowing out the hardware costs, but thinking about what the experience is going to be and then doing it for an appropriate amount of money according to what the client needs are. But if you're the smaller brand, there's huge communities of people right now that are online as we speak, and those people are sharing code, they're sharing examples of what they're doing it for the love of being a hobbyist and a DIY type guy, and they generally don't get very many offers for their work to be seen by a large audience. So that I think that's a great opportunity and a sweet spot for the smaller company or the entrepreneur who's just starting out to say, how can I create something that may get that buzz without having to pay the rates of what some of these bigger companies are doing?
So, any suggestions specific to what you just mentioned about where to find these kinds of people, where you could connect with them and say, hey, we're looking for an experience, a similar type of experience, and because if you're not in the geek world, how do you know where to go?
Right. Well, I think there's two ways to do it. One of which is not the easiest, which is to go to the places and platforms that these people talk. They tend to be forums and online message boards and things like that where they're sharing code and answering questions for each other. I don't think that's an easy one for someone who's not technical to get into. But really through Vimeo and Google, just by putting in categories and joining groups that highlight this type of work. You literally can go to the creators of those and get bios and profiles of them and indicate whether, you'll be able to see, are they an artist or are they work for a big company that's doing this, and find those people directly. And I think that's the best way to do this, is literally just doing video searches for the types of stuff that you're interested in, and see what's bubbling under. A lot of the stuff that I showed got covered other places. That's how I found out about it.
Right.
So there's a variety of blogs and magazines and and different outlets that are showcasing this work. So all I've done is put enough hooks in so that I can at any point jump on to my computer and get a quick snapshot of what's happening in those worlds. And if there's something I really like, I'll go to that person directly.
Great. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us and to share some of your insights today, for sure. Looking forward to see where these technologies are going.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.